I'm playing Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards.
Kirby is a character everyone seems to love, as a character. I mean, he's cute, small, and pink, what else can I say? First appearing in Kirby Dream Land, being developed by HAL Laboratory and Masahiro Sakurai, Smash Bros. Director, the series would go on to be a major success, especially in the 80s and 90s. Actually, Kirby was kind of milked during this era if you really think about it, starring in lots of spin-offs like Kirby's Pinball Land, Dream Course, Avalanche, Block Ball, Star Stacker, Till and Tumble, and all that. Pretty impressive lineup for a brand new franchise getting its kickstart. I guess it's no surprise people still love the charm of Kirby to this day too. The design philosophy everyone knows at this point is it's a game that anyone can play, but adds more challenge for people who want to really master it. Also the same idea for Smash Bros, and I'd say this design is well realized in the actual games, even if they're on the easier side. However, I think most can agree each of the mainline titles have repeated the same core gameplay tradition for decades, making all of them not too remarkable. They're perfectly well made and fine games though, I believe, but at least for me, there's just not much reason to go and play them. You can add a robot gimmick or an epic yarn, but at the end of the day, they're kinda just basic 2D platformers. Not to get too cocky, but I'd rather spend my time playing some more popular and high-held games, if you know what I mean. Which is why I think they just need to pull the trigger and make a 3D mainline Kirby game. It's been too long, guys. Well, I don't have much history with the series anyways. I did grow up with Kirby Air Ride though, a really fun spin-off racing game. I would spend hours walking around the city trial mode and not even playing correctly, just exploring the map itself, which gave me a basic idea of what a 3D Kirby game could be, which was fun. I randomly lost a disc somehow, which sucks hard though. I was pretty devastated back then. Fast forward to 2018, I would get Kirby Star Allies for my birthday when I was trying to build my measly Switch collection at the time. I remember it being okay. It was kind of fun, but it left a lot to be desired for in my opinion. Before all of my memories of these games though, I was playing Crystal Shards for the N64. I remember I had a lot of trouble trying to beat the levels and bosses with this one. Months or years later, I did sometimes go back to Kirby 64 after that, and I eventually did beat the game, and even 100%ed it. But yeah, I guess it's time for me to play it again for this video game review. How do I phrase that correctly? But genuinely, I'm fairly interested in seeing what I think of it all these years later. This was their first opportunity to make something truly different for Kirby as it's on the N64, but they went with the usual formula of 2D Kirby. But let's get to it. Oh wow! We're told the premise through this opening cutscene here. A fairy named Ribbon is trying to escape from the black things called dark matter because her entire planet Ripplestar is being invaded by them. On the way, she crash lands onto Popstar and shatters the Crystal Shard spaceship she was flying with. There on that planet, we find Kirby just relaxing when he meets Ribbon, and Kirby decide it's their job to get all of the Crystal Shards back and defeat the dark matter once and for all. Yeah, that is a very simple plot, but I won't say it's a bad one. Enough for a children's game. By the way, I want to mention these cutscenes because they're probably the most impressive ones I've seen for N64 at least. Not only are they 60 FPS, but everyone's character models are surprisingly high poly, especially Kirby, and they're also super charming. Most cutscenes reoccur after you're done with the world, and it's usually pretty damn cute, part of the usual Kirby flair and all. Alright, so Kirby 64 stands apart from other Kirby games and 2D platformers for that matter, in the fact that it's a 2.5D game, and its unique power-up system. Let's talk about the 2.5D aspect first. This game is fundamentally a 2D platformer but with a 3D background. If you've played Klonoa, then you know what I'm talking about. Even though you don't go right on the screen, you still hold right on the D-pad, which, to my knowledge, this is one of the few N64 games to make full-fledged use of the thing. The game does utilize 2.5D in interesting ways and camera angles sometimes, but it's not as cool as Klonoa, truthfully. As for Kirby, he controls like Kirby. He walks, he floats, and you could suck up things with your mouth! He moves around okay for the most part, except for his walking speed. There's just no run button, and you gotta get used to slugging Kirby around, because he's honestly pretty damn slow. It can also lead to a few clunky moments here and there. Kirby 64 isn't a hard game, I'd say, but to call it pathetically easy is a bit of an understatement. It's not hard to take a lot of damage from enemies if you're not careful about jumping, floating, and stuff. Well, if you're naked and have no power-ups, it can be a tad frustrating here and there, and yes, I died enough times to get a few game overs, which may be due to the enemy placement or the level design having a trap that I can't see. Thanks. Overall, I think it's just that I want Kirby to simply move faster. Not the hugest issue though. I don't think you'll have a hard time beating the game. Oh yeah, speaking of levels, the game is split into 6 worlds or planets you'll go through, with 5 levels in each of them, most of the time, and a boss. The whole experience is very linear. You go from one level into the next. At the end of a level, you do this little bonus game to get an item, and the trick is to do this. In the beginning, you'll meet up with your pals, Waddle Dee, King Dedede, and Adeline, which I've always liked her for some reason. Sometimes they'll assist you in levels, maybe by providing an item or teaming up with Dedede to break down walls, which is sick. The stages themselves aren't too remarkable, but graphically this game does look pretty solid. The environments vary and such, going from grasslands to caves to volcanoes and stuff, which I guess is nice. I vividly remember the opening to this stage in Rockstar for some reason, with the huge spaceships shaped like a diamond in the background of a vast desert. But easily the most infamous set of stages takes place in Shiverstar. It's because there's a lot of mystery surrounding this planet as you progress. The first 2 levels are jolly, snow-themed, and cloud-themed levels. Then the next one takes us to a mall-looking area with set pieces, escalators, elevators, and all that. But the final level is a literal factory with animals stuck inside these weird machines. All the while you hear one of the best songs in the game with a really serious tone to it. It begs the question, who's running this crap? Why is all this here? Though the most interesting part about it is, if you look at the planet on the map screen, you'll see it bears a striking resemblance to Earth. Yeah, so this is Earth, most likely hundreds of years in the future, where something is going on here very evidently. It stands out from the other QT levels for just being questionable and mysterious and oddly creepy, especially in a Kirby game. Shiverstar is easily my favorite planet to go through just because it spawns all this speculation, and you can make some pretty serious theories about it. I'll leave that to the Kirby 64 diehard fans though. I mostly talked about the environments of these stages. How they're actually designed can range from okay to not so great. I think the worst level in the entire game is this one in Aquastar with these fast currents. I hit a lot of enemies and rocks and debris and died a bunch. It is not fun at all. The game doesn't dip this much in quality for the rest of it, so that's a good thing. But it leaves me wanting more from these stages design-wise, because most of them have you walking to the end and maybe doing some platforming. But I suppose it's the environments that make them enjoyable. Also, I wanted to mention the music for a second, because I forgot how actually amazing Kirby music is in general. This soundtrack has serious bangers. I guess a standout favorite of mine would be Ripple Star's Jazz. Seriously man, the music is so freaking good. I was humming my way through the levels. Let's move on though. Next up, the power-ups. Probably the most well-known thing for Kirby 64. It's simple, you can inhale whatever enemies have an element or whatever, and you get a power-up. Take that power and combine it with something else. Usually it's by throwing your geometry at another enemy, which can result in clunk sometimes. I think it would have been easier to suck up 2 enemies separately instead, maybe with another button. All of these combos are on the offense side to kill enemies instantly, except for Refrigerator Kirby, which actually gives you healing items too. Combining power-ups can result in some pretty awesome abilities and weapons, like a freaking flaming sword or this lightsaber thing! Mario Galaxy 2 reference. Or even a snowman bomb Kirby. Yeah, they couldn't think of anything good for that one. Considering everything, there are 56 different power-ups in this game, which is damn impressive. In fact, I stumbled upon a few I didn't even know existed until now, like Ice Skating Kirby, what the heck, or even Fireworks Kirby, which is actually my favorite combo in the game. All in all, this makes for a lot of incentive to combine different power-ups. It's fun to see what you might get. Some might give you an advantage in being speedy and having good hitboxes, while others may not. They may be slow and stiff, like the big-ass rock or the snowball. It depends. It gives you freedom to just experiment, and it's a great addition. Granted, I haven't played any other Kirby games from this time period, so I can't compare and contrast how those handle abilities, but it's neat nonetheless. And you may even need them for certain collectibles, like the Crystal Shards. Speaking of which, the Crystal Shards are the main collectible, with 3 in each level. They may be obtained by beating a mini-boss or be out in the open, or a little hidden. Or even this annoying-ass game of trying to replicate the picture on Adeline's painting, pixel perfect, and if you mess up, well, you gotta restart, which is arguably another low point for me. Anyways, the most common way to get them is by breaking a barrier with a specific power-up combo, and yes, getting all of them is required for the real final boss and true ending. I see a lot of people complain about this, and yeah, it can be very annoying to not know that you need a very specific power-up to get a Crystal Shard. I mean, the colors of the barrier may point you in the right direction. To all of this, I say, just use a walkthrough. Even better, just use a walkthrough as you're playing the stage. And yes, I know it can be a pain in the ass to look back at a walkthrough every few minutes, but it saves you time in the long run. I did use a walkthrough while playing Kirby 64, but I'd be lying if I said it was a completely smooth experience. Sometimes I would miss out on an opportunity to suck an enemy for an ability, or I'd find out that there are no enemies to get you a specific power-up for a Crystal Shard in a stage, making me go back to a way earlier level to get it. Then replaying the level I was just on to get to the shard. That is very irritating, man. Thankfully, you don't have to replay the entire stage, you can just hit try again and you're good. But if the game gave me the necessary enemies I needed at all times, then I wouldn't be complaining about this. Unfortunately, it happened more times than I would have liked, and coupled with the general frustration I had sometimes due to the level of Kirby's clunkiness, my playthrough was kinda mixed. That is to say, if you don't go for them and settle for the normal ending, which is considered a bad one. But at that point, I'd honestly recommend doing that. Just play through the game and do whatever you want and get any power-ups you want. Also, remember when I said you have freedom to do combos? That's stripped away if you're going for 100% as the game forces you to get particular power-ups. So yeah, I'd advise you play through the game normally, settle for the ending you get, and decide if you want to go for the rest of the shards. I decided to do 100% for the sake of this review. I think the Crystal Shards are an alright collectible overall, but yeah, they can be a hassle to get. With everything said and done, let's move on to Ripple Star. Ripple Star is the final planet you go through, and it's pretty interesting. You break into the castle shrouded in dark matter and eventually reach the final boss? It's an eyeball thing, fair enough. Miracle Matter is the boss before the true final boss, and honestly, it's a pretty good time. It's difficult and challenging, and you cannot utilize your power-ups at all. You have to suck up things and throw them at him. After enough hits, it feels like you really accomplished something. But that ain't it. We see Kirby and co. return to Ripple Star, only to find out, oops, Dark Matter isn't dead yet. They then proceed to the final boss. It's probably one of the creepiest things to come out of a Kirby game, but if you know your lore well, it's sort of tradition for Kirby to have these insane demon-like final bosses that creep you the hell out and give you nightmares for life. This is 02 or 0 squared, and it's this flying eyeball. It's an amazing fight aesthetically with the intense music, a hellish red background, and the fact that you can use the Crystal Shards to fight him is great. Wait, what is that? That's blood. Blood in a Kirby game. So it's a pretty insane final moment, almost compared to the likes of Earthbound's final boss, except that one has way more actual meaning to it. It's still really interesting to see in Kirby 64 though, even if the fight itself is pretty easy. After you're done with that, the Kirby team gets some nice medals for their hard work and... No way! Credits I always liked for some reason, since it has these charming, colorful sketches of all the characters you met along the way. I also thought I should mention some other side modes, like the minigames for example. They're actually pretty damn fun, like Checkerboard Chase is top tier. Even if there's only 3, they're kind of a good distraction. I had a generally okay time with Kirby 64 for the most part. The levels were alright and varied, the power-up system was pretty cool, but other than that, there's not much to it. Collecting the Crystal Shards can be annoying sometimes, and I had to retread earlier levels to get combos more than I would have preferred. But even if I did 100% this game for this review, it still took me only about 4.5 hours to get through. So yeah, this game is pretty short, and you could probably run through it in one session if you didn't go for the shards. Another good thing about this Kirby game is that it has a lot of charm with the cutscenes and such. I like the characters too, but honestly I'm not sure if I can recommend it unless you're a Kirby fan or not. If you want to get into Kirby or just try something new and simple, then this game is for you. However, even though I did go over the creepy final boss and Shiver Star, Kirby 64 isn't too remarkable in the grand scheme of things. It's fun, I guess, but it doesn't make use of the 2.5D aspect as much as I wanted to. And speaking of 2D and 3D, I just wish they would make a 3D Kirby game already. Like a 3D platformer maybe. I'd honestly buy it considering how honestly repetitive the series has gotten even with its new ideas thrown in. I'm not opposed to trying a new Kirby game. In fact, I'm down for a triple deluxe and epic yard eventually. I just got other games to play through, as I stated in the intro. Considering Kirby 64 was HAL's first chance at innovating for the franchise, it kind of makes me a bit sad we don't have that fabled brand new Kirby experience in the third dimension yet. It really makes me want them to pull the trigger already. But, well, that's all I had to say on the Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. Going back to this game made me realize why I don't play many Kirby games in general. And also, I apologize for the shorter videos lately. I promise I'll make a longer video on a popular game next time. Anyways, I'll see you guys someday, and bye. And now, I present to you a sequel to Halo Luigi 2. Enjoy.
Oh man, I really like this amiibo.
Oh, hey, Mario. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Luigi, get out of my freaking way. I can't have you mention around my freaking amiibo. God, get out. Yeah.
That was very nice of you.
Right, now let me get back to some nice amiibo.
Wow, that was epic.